Hello everyone! Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Rocket League. Today I'm going to be doing a training. This is part of a training pack that I found from a different video by a YouTuber by the name of Sunless Khan, I believe. Now this training has lots of different aspects on it. Goes through a whole bunch of different things. Helps you in your core mechanics. I'm starting with the dribbling one. Probably gonna go quiet a lot because I'm trying to focus. But I wanted to record these trainings that I do. I don't feel like I did that one that well. I want to record these trainings for two main reasons. First one is so I can see my progression over time. And the second one is to potentially help. That may sound strange since I'm the one in training here, but potentially help anyone else who has to do this training, or not has to do this training, but wants tips with this training as well. It doesn't look like I'm the person to give that tips, huh? I haven't played in a while, a little rusty. Not certain if my mic quality is coming out as well as it should be. I apologize if it doesn't, but it should hopefully. I'm a little rusty, so it's gonna not look so good to begin here with, but after a little while I'll get better with this. I'm going to be doing this every day, but each day I'm going to do a different part. So today I do dribbling, tomorrow I'll do aerial recovery, I think is the next thing to do. So I'm getting a good training each day. I was able to do this better earlier, but now I seem to have lost my skill. Because I haven't practiced in a while. There we go, that's a little better. That's not better. Will it go in? No. Wait. But, yeah, for the most part, I just want to record these so that I can see my progression, and it can help other people. Like, it can see where I keep messing up, so maybe they might have the same mistake, and they can see what I do to fix it, which I hopefully will, so that they can help themselves through that. Man, I'm not doing too good today. So the dribbling is going to be about 10-20 minutes. It'll probably just depend on what I feel like doing, and if I'm actually able to do it. For some reason I'm not, but... Oof, I keep doing this so badly. That's why I'm in training though, so I don't look like anything much right now, of course not. Even though I've done this already, I've done these trainings before, I'm not anywhere near mastering them. I still have a lot to learn. But I have done these trainings before, so I'm not just fresh off starting. I had a little bit of experience. I want to do that one again. I don't feel like I did it very well. But yeah, that'll basically be the idea behind these. I'll record... I still don't feel like I did that, so... I'll record these, and it'll just be helpful things to show people, maybe. They can learn off something that I do. They can fix the mistakes that I'm making, hopefully at least. And I can look back at this and see, wow, I was really bad back in the day. And I'll be super good. I'll be like, wow, look at all that improvement that happened from training. This is kind of like motivation for both me and anyone else who's in training who happens to be watching this. It kind of helps, if you ask me. I would say it helps, because it shows that you're not the only person struggling. And it's like, of course you're not, but to see someone else who's having the same difficulties as you, for some reason for me, it just feels like a motivational factor. You're like, oh hey, they have the same problems that I do. It's not like I'm the only person dealing with this. It kind of helps, if you ask me. Might just be a personal opinion. How should I know? Well hey, you can at least hopefully get something out of this contest. And it's definitely not a waste. It'll definitely at least help someone out there. Some episodes I might just play some music in the background. Some episodes hopefully not, but I might just be very quiet and silent. I'll try to avoid that, but I might do that sometimes. I just might not have anything I want to talk about. Hopefully I'll find something that would be nice to actually be able to think of something to speak of, not just sit there silently training and failing a lot. I could fill an episode with just motivational quotes. How about that? Oops. Speaking of which, I should probably talk about how you should do these. I can give some advice, even though I'm no master with it, as can clearly be seen. Start, if you're using this map specifically, I'd like to give some help to anyone who would, also do this map. I should hopefully put Sunless Khan's video in the description. I got all of this training from him. All of the training that you will see will be from him. I'm taking no credit for any of these maps or any of the trainings that I do. All I'm doing is training with them. I want to show off, in case anyone also does this training, certain things that I've learned. So like, for example, using the boost, or not using the boost, well, technically using the boost to start off. You just want to hit the ball lightly and then boost into it and do it slow that way. That's better. You just want to drive into it, no boost, and then boost after it gets in the air. That tends to work. One thing that I don't really see in many videos is turning. It may seem obvious, but for me it was harder to grasp because I didn't know exactly what to do, but now I do know what to do. What you're going to want to do is move your ball to the opposite side you want to turn in. So let's say I want to go right, you'll go a little bit left, but not that much. Just go a little bit left and then let it roll to the right. If I could actually show it, if I was good enough. And do a little bit something like that. Of course, I'm doing it way too early, so I can't actually show it. But you just want to let it roll to the opposite side. Oops. And then you can make the turn. Again, I'm no master or claim to be. Not even good at this myself. I'm just saying what I have found that helps me. A little bit like that, but I don't want it to go that low, because then of course I can't actually control the ball. I'm just trying to give helpful hints that I have picked up as I've been doing this. It might not be the best way, but it's ways that I have found like that was actually decent until I messed it up at the end. So I know the struggle of this. It can be hard to think of these things. Like, you may think of it as common sense. That's what I thought of it as first, but then I realized, you know, there's a lot of different ways I could do this. Like, maybe I could just hit it to the right, or hit it to the opposite side, let it smash up in the air, and then do something with it. Or no, who knows, maybe I use power slide, do all these fancy things. I don't even know how I would do that, but just showing it as an example, there's lots of things that you could do. It's not just, oh, there's only this one way of doing it. There's a whole bunch of things that you can try, but only a few of them are efficient. That's why I'm mentioning this. Oops. Of course, they seem obvious, but for some they might be. Let's say I thought my rumble pack broke for a minute. It's just those little things that you have to pick up on. I found that just letting it roll over and then moving to the direction you want to turn in helps a lot. It really does seem just like common sense, but I had to experiment. I think I'm losing controller connectivity. Oh, my bad, I'm talking about my own issues, but it does seem like common sense, but it's just things that I picked up on. Oh, one thing that helps is to not actually be boosting when you turn the ball. You have to be slow with it. It makes it way too difficult if you have to boost. Except for at the end there. I was actually going really decently. Right about here. You slowed down too much, and that made me mess it up. Oh, well, it'll happen. It's training after all. But if you do use this training pack, whoa, that was weird. The recommended time is 20 minutes per day, Doesn't have to be per day, and of course you could alternate days if you want. You can really do however you want, but for me, I'm going to do this 20 minutes per day. However, you won't actually see the dribbling every day. I'll do a different segment each day, so it's not just a whole week of dribbling, because that would be annoying. There'll be a variety of different things. Eventually it'll loop around back to dribbling. I'm on a Rocket League rush right now. I really enjoy Rocket League, so it's probably what I'm going to be uploading a lot of, but not solely what I'll be uploading a lot of. Because the videos you publish, if you enjoy what you're actually doing, your video will be a lot better. And like, this is not irritating for me at all, even all these fails that I have. Matter of fact, I actually don't even mind, because it's just helping me, realistically. It's not like it matters, I'm only training, it's for myself. Oops. I'm not in a ranked game where it actually would mean something. Excuse me. Oops. Too fast. Oh yeah, that's another thing, you tend not to want to use a lot of boost when you're dribbling. That's one thing that I need to adjust myself to, because I've always used a lot of boost. Oh, that was going so well. I tend to find that I go way too fast. Oh, one thing I do want to mention quick. Excuse me again. To this specific... Oops, what am I doing? To this specific training, this level right here. It's this moving wall that you'd have to dribble... Oops. Dribble on. Now, it's good training to do, because it would teach you, like, making sharp turns, but I just don't feel as if it's entirely useful. Not saying anything bad about it, it's just you won't ever have a situation like this where you have to have precise timing when to start your dribble. So that'll only be determined by if there's an opponent in the way, which... that's just any time there's an opponent in the way. So this I kind of find to be a little less necessary, I guess is a good word for it, but still helpful to do. Same thing for the next level, that's very similar. Now there's two. I don't want to say that it's bad to do, it's definitely not. It's good to train with, but oops. Good to train with, but I tend to skip them, because I just don't think that it's as necessary as a lot of other things. It's not a waste of time by any means, it's still very helpful to do, it's just, you shouldn't need to practice them if you don't feel the need to. I need to stop messing this up, because I am bad. And stuff like this too, I'm not certain about if I would train them. This one more than those spinning walls, but I'm not certain, it's just... you won't have a ramp in Rocket League like this. Oh, I lost controller connection. Same thing for this here. It's useful to practice, but you won't have this specific situation. By all means, like I said, it's still useful to know, but just not certain. This, even though it's a gap, actually is useful to know. You could be using it to jump over an opponent and catch the ball. Even though tricky, you can't do that. Even still, you have to question how useful it is, but I would say that's still something good to practice. Those are just some quick things I wanted to mention. I'm not saying anything bad about them, they're very, they can still be very important, it's just, I wouldn't say you have to do those. I'm going to be skipping them personally, but that's probably going to hurt me in the long run, and I shouldn't be doing that, but, you know, whatever, yeah. Like I said, part of this is also to give tips to people watching if they're having similar problems, and if they're using this specific training map, really, would like to give them tips as well. What is it? Tips that I've been doing, really. I just got really focused, my bad, I went silent. Yeah, I would like to give tips in case anyone else is using the same map. Because it can really help, just knowing stuff like that. I mean, it won't entirely help knowing that they can skip a level, but you shouldn't need to do that. I mean, I'm sure it has some use. Some use for some specific situations, but for me personally, I just don't see it being a necessity to practice. I could very well be wrong, though. Personally, I don't see the use of it. That is what you do not want to do. I'm trying to think of anything else that I should mention. Oh, of course, if you get stuck on a level, it would probably be best to move on after some point. You don't just want to be staying on the same level the entire time. Oops. But that doesn't, of course, mean avoid the level. Still take the challenge if it challenges you. Unless you do not feel like you need that. Oh, I couldn't make it. You typically don't want to skip any levels. All of them are helpful, but those are just two specific examples of ones that I don't feel would be entirely important. Again, saying nothing bad about the map developer. This is excellent map, but that's just something that I wanted to say as a note to anyone else who trains with this map. Those might not be, extremely important to do. Like, if you're going to skip any of them, those would probably be the ones that you'd want to skip. Ones like that where there's moving walls or whatnot, since you won't exactly have those specific scenarios when you're in-game. You'll have similar stuff with enemy players, but it's not exactly the same. I have only been able to complete this once. It took me forever to learn about the, turning. And for some reason I always go too fast. I need to slow it down. I need to get ahead of the ball. I think that's how I figured out you have to do it. You have to get slightly ahead of the ball, and then start going to the left. Not that far ahead though. I mean, left in this scenario to let it roll to the right. Yeah, you just do something like that. Then you would boost after you do the turn. So that way you keep it on top of you. Oh, I went way too, what is it? That wasn't a sharp enough of a turn. Oh, almost had that one. Oh, too fast. Alright. Thought I was gonna roll away and get stuck on me. So by the next time I do the the dribbling training, I'm probably gonna have a massive improvement in my ability to do this, because it's going to be many times that I have done this already. Because while each episode might only be the next specific training in this set, I'm still doing all of the trainings. I'm not giving up on any of them. I'm still going to do them all. Oops. So hopefully I'll be able to see an improvement within that time. It'll be a short time, of course, but point still stands. It's useful. I mean, short by, what is it? I would consider, a few months, I would say, is when you can see a good improvement. Next time I do this might only be a week or two from now, so there's that to look forward to. Hopefully, we'll be improving. Should be, at least. I definitely have lost some of the skill that I've just earned up by doing these trainings, though. That's why you gotta do it daily. Until you get it in your head. That might be another thing to note that I could give as a piece of advice. Do the trainings daily so that you don't lose what you've trained for like I have. Of course, you don't have to do it every single day for the rest of your life or whatnot, but just get to a point where you can be strong enough to remember what you need to do. For some reason, I've just lost all muscle memory and how to keep with the ball. I also know that I said I should move off different levels when I get stuck on them, but oh, that's gonna be so good. For some reason, I'm just feeling that I should stay on this level. Not entirely certain why, but I feel as if I should. Oh, oops. Give it a few last attempts here. Oh, that was almost there. That was almost there, I mean. Oops. Well, I get just one last good solid attempt in. It's been around 20 minutes, so I know my training time would be up and I can continue on for the day, but it's just so much fun. I really don't know what it is. It's not even tilting at all or anything like that. It's just enjoyable even when you mess up. Like, I don't mind it at all. I'll give it one more go. One more solid go. Yeah, this is better. This will be my last attempt. Well, as I said, that'll be my last attempt. Hope you all maybe learned something from this, enjoyed watching. I don't know, I personally enjoy watching other Rocket League videos. It's also helpful to just watch pro players. I'm by no means a pro player, but if watching my videos helps you in any way, feel free to watch again. I won't be stopping you, but thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.